Intro.
Hi, sorry for the lack of decoration, but I am in my room currently alone due to coronavirus because I'm volunteering at a film festival. I'm here for work. Kira is with me. She did a barky bark at an important person today, so we'll see how this thing goes. I'm not going to allow her to mingle though because she's not on her best behavior. Anyhow, today we're reviewing season 5, episode 7 of Rick and Morty. The episode is titled Gotron Jerris's Rickvangelion, which is a reference to both Voltron, the series, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, the anime. I've watched neither. I am more familiar with the Voltron iconography than Evangelion, but I am not really going to be analyzing that reference too much. This episode is going to be split as per usual into 3 segments: continuity, characters, and plot. And we'll, as always, start with continuity. Episode 7, no big plot line in the background. It started raining outside, which is nice, I guess. No big plot line like divorce or anything. I cannot really see there being a retconned backstory by the end, and still it wouldn't count. But there are some character journeys. I don't believe that Morty, Jerry, and Beth have been on much of a journey. I'll maybe revisit it in like episode 9 or 10, but I don't think they went on much of a journey. Rick, as I mentioned in my previous video, is a changed man when it comes to season 4 in a way that I feel is undeserved, and I think that the fandom partially at least agrees with me, because there is some sort of dissatisfaction with the way that Rick is, and Rick is the central character of the show, not even because he gets the most screen time or is the most important, but he really resonates with fandom and people really care about him, and it feels weird. He feels weird, and that's because by the end of season 4, he is feeling very down because he just lost a friend, and here he's very, very accepting of his place in the family and in general respectful towards others in the family, which is not what really people are here for. People like him being rude and terrible. So yeah, but this episode showed me that the thing that's the most continuous throughout the episodes is Summer's storyline. She started very much as a background character, then got more and more screen time. She is very important again, and her journey is, I think, the most elaborate. Summer was the only character of the only Smith family member who did not distance herself from Rick after the events of previous seasons. She still finds him important, so that's her journey for the season. And with that, I think I'll move into the character arcs for this episode. Everybody goes through something. Rick goes on an obsessive bender, and it's not much of a character journey. It's more just so exploring that facet of his personality, that obsessiveness, which he dials back, but with external help. He's not really able to do it on his own, and he's enabled by Summer. Beth and Jerry are a team, and they go on a journey of going with the flow of this Rick's bender and just not questioning anything and doing everything just because it feels nice. They are really very introspective, and they don't really think a lot about their actions this episode, but they do end up where they started. It's more of maybe we can just assume that from that they still have the ability or the misfortune of having the tendency to get carried away and go with the flow in an unhealthy manner. Morty tries to stop Rick from obsessing, but is prevented from doing that by Summer, and he feels kind of bad, and he feels like the third wheel in his family as the least important character. At least that's what we see at the beginning. And that's because I think in this episode he is the most evolved, in the sense that he's the most distanced from Rick, because being very close to Rick and going with his ideas is clearly what makes people not really grow, that they are doing, that they just aren't questioning. And because of that, he suffers somewhat. But I think he's very self-contained and is aware that everything that's happening is a result of his choices. He gets a chance to be a little bit badass while fighting the fake Gotron kids. And I don't know, I really like his character arc. He doesn't really go on much of a journey. He just wants to get through to his family. Summer, though, she goes on the biggest journey out of all of them. Because at the beginning of the episode, she pushes Rick towards obsessing over the Gotron ferrets and collecting them, and effectively enables him in this obsession. She helps him, she coordinates it, and she does all of that because, as per her words, she got addicted to making Grandma happy, because making Rick happy is kind of gives you a high and a rush, because he's such a genius that if he gives you some of his attention, it's truly a big thing for them. It's a high, it's a type of high, and as we established in previous episodes, Summer does really like getting high and wants to be known as such. This is a coconut raspberry cookie. And with that, I'll move to the plot. The episode starts with Summer, Morty, and Rick together in the car heading towards Boob World. In theme with the way that Summer is treated in this episode, Rick doesn't really care that she's going. Morty effectively doesn't want her to go, but they are taking her because taking her to Boob World makes them able to go or have a free experience or whatever. She likens herself to a can of Coke at Six Flags, which I imagine gives you a discount. I don't know. But on the way there, they find a black Gotron ferret, which I believe is Rick's last ferret. Anyhow, it awakens in him the need to complete the whole thing and go on Gotron adventures. Rick shuns Morty, who's not into it. Summer is a yes woman and wants to go along with it and helps him coordinate the Gotron adventures. She psychologically manipulates Beth and Jerry into joining them on the adventure, and they successfully form a Gotron robot, which is cool, but it's not enough for Rick, and Summer pushes him further. He wants more Gotrons, so he enlists the help of some other Ricks, which I don't know how cool and favorite are they going to be, but I imagine because of the setting, which is clearly inspired and evocative of mafia movies and The Godfather, maybe specifically, they might become some sort of fandom favorites. And the episode essentially ends where the Gotron kids get defeated, and Summer does that with the help of her giant incest baby, which was conceived in episode 4. That's the point of contention. Frankly, I don't really love it here, and that's clearly continuity, by the way. I didn't really mention that before, but that's a lot of continuity, and I don't know how important the baby is going to be, but the creators clearly are very fond of it. So the incest baby is here to stay, I imagine, or at least become a recurring character. It's a giant, slightly misshapen toddler just floating through space and doing Summer's bidding. She bonds with the baby in this episode, and that's here I will talk about it. That's part of her character arc, but it's not really actively introduced. It's just info dumped, and in a quick montage we see how she bonds with the baby and establishes a relationship. I can't really use that when it comes to her character journey because we see so little, but she's very shaken up, and she says that her character journey is actually a result of her needing the family close together because she doesn't feel like she's paired up with anyone. She's not a part of a marriage or a grandson-grandpa combo, so she feels somewhat alienated. And it is in theme with the episode because she was portrayed as an, maybe not outsider, but a sideline character and opposition to other family members in different episodes. So there is that. I don't think this episode is particularly genius. I don't think it's particularly amusing. I don't really care about Voltron, and I'm saying that just because maybe that prevented me from enjoying the episode the most, but I liked it just fine. I think the whole episode takes place in like San Francisco or something. I don't know. I think I've seen the Golden Gate Bridge in it. Still, it's just pretty mediocre, but was, as you've seen, a lot to talk about character-wise, which I enjoy because I don't think I've had a lot to talk about character-wise this season. The last reference is that the episode uses the framework of voiceover from Summer and Morty, and not only Summer and Morty are competing with each other, the voiceovers somewhat separately are competing with each other as well. Summer doesn't really seem to notice the voiceover battle, and I really like that as a trope. I think it's a fine device to use, and it turns out that they were just bugs in the ear that were called voiceoverians, which provided voiceover for the episode. And I wonder if they were maybe inspired by the translator fish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Possibly, not certainly. And yeah, and with that I'll wrap it up. The intro and outro were made in Kosmos Museum in Warsaw. It's a museum of optical illusions, has nothing to do with space. Subscribe, like this video, please leave a comment if you enjoyed it and if you have any feedback, and enjoy me spinning on the floor of a mirrored room.